you been, by the way?
At home for the last couple of days. Just got back from the tour with Marilyn Manson.
Oh, yeah.
Reveal. Out there, Metallica. My lead singer fell on stage and broke his ribs. So, yeah.
Saw that. And so now he's knocked out for a while.
I hope not. We got a show coming up at Aftershock here in a couple weeks. So,
well, so the whole idea is just we're getting together once a week to get on camera and just have the same conversations we have when we're hanging out at dinner, when you're making me food at your place. And Chris he's in a band, Five Finger Death Punch, one of the biggest bands on the planet, the #2 most streamed hard rock band in the world, behind Metallica, and just finished a tour with Metallica, and about to spend the next couple of years doing more massive tours. I am a stand-up comedian who performs in
Soul Joel's, baby.
You always say Soul Joel's.
Because I'm jealous. I've never sold out Soul Joel's.
I make a living, but I make a great living, but my checks come from places called Uncle Funny's, the Chuckle Hut. There's a place in Des Moines, Iowa called Teehees.
Oh, I like that.
But yeah, you always gave me a hard time about the Soul Joel's, especially when I was on that one phone call with that girl where he started doing an impression. Okay, here's the thing. Are you going to do the impression?
Oh, I got a phone call. Hey, hey, baby. No, I'm just, out with Chris Kael over here having some food. Yeah. I mean, hey, yeah, I'm with somebody right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank God you didn't FaceTime.
Yeah. Dude, you don't understand. I know you know part of this story. All right, here's the thing. When I'm with Chris, 24/7, I am Fozzie the Bear. I'm Waka Waka 24/7. We're always laughing, having fun. And in that moment, what you don't know is the girl that called me during dinner. I was like, oh, this is weird. It was a girl I just met. I really liked her. I pick up the phone and she goes, hey, I'm naked right now. And I go, what? And so I got like really serious and I was like, and she goes, I want you to join me. And I go, I can't. Can I call you back later? And I couldn't believe it. Like, I couldn't believe, like.
Me either. Someone actually wanted to bang Craig Gass, and I was there to see it. I'd never seen that before. But I'm familiar with Teehee, Mr. Craig Gass from Teehees.
Here's the sad thing, is that as a rock star, it is a natural thing that women want to throw their clothes at you. So I have a moment. I have a rock star moment. When you have girls throwing themselves at you the next day, they still want to throw themselves at you. This girl called me the next day and I picked the phone like, oh, hey, hun. And she goes, I have a drinking problem. And I go, what?
Yep.
But I felt that last night. And she goes, you were my bottom. Like, I was like, oh, man.
Hey, Craig.
Yeah.
It's better than you being my bottom.
Yeah. So this is the idea, is the two of us hanging out. I'm a comedian who's played a bunch of characters on a bunch of TV shows, on King of Queens, Sex and the City, and doing voices on Family Guy, American Dad, and now I'm back on the Howard Stern show. And comedians and musician friends of ours are going to join us every week or every other, like whenever we have a desire to bring people in or somebody wants to come on. And comedy, by the way, has never been bigger. There are more comedians right now that can sell and fill an arena with just one name. There's dozens of comedians right now that can do that. Whereas rock bands, a lot of rock bands need strong support to be able to fill an arena. We're living in a golden age of stand-up comedy. And podcasts never been bigger. Podcasts are filling venues up. So people love listening to their favorite people on podcasts. And the idea is the two of us just getting together every week and just having fun.
Absolutely.
And bringing up the stuff that we talk about when we're hanging out. We're both different temperaments. You get pissed off. Things bother you.
I know not of which you speak, sir.
What bothers you right now? What has pissed you off recently?
Oh, God, where do I begin?
This is Chris is pissed. This is where we're going to have a little, and then there's going to be a little guy screaming. Like all
I've actually, I've already wrote a song for this segment, actually.
Yeah.
Chris is pissed.
Dude, I love it.
See, I'm a musician. That's what I'm bringing to the table. Actually, I'm a bassist. I can't say I'm a musician. That's why I wrote a 10-second song.
That actually happened to me when I opened for Pantera a few weeks ago in Minneapolis. Backstage at your concert, the guys in Journey were backstage at your show. And one of the guys who works for Journey goes, "Did you hear about Craig? Craig opened for Pantera." And they go, "What?" And I'm talking to him. And this guy goes, "Oh my God, we should have you open for Journey in a couple weeks. We got a show in Portland where there's no opener." And I was like, "What?" And they go, "Yeah, talk to our tour manager." I go to talk to the tour manager and he goes, "Yeah, who asked you to talk to me?" And I go, "Todd." And he goes, "Todd plays bass." That was his exact words. And I was like, "Oh man, I have
what's the guy's name you were talking to?
Todd Jensen."
Not Todd, the bass player, the guy that said, "Todd plays bass." Who was that guy?
That was the tour manager who said tour.
I'm waiting for, fuck you. Okay? How about that? Fuck you, tour manager. Bass player's keeping you in a fucking job. Watch your fucking mouth. So today, tour managers is what fucking pisses me off, Craig.
Wow. What was about to come out of your mouth that pisses you off now? And by the way, again, different temperaments. I'm going to listen to him vent. And then me, who doesn't get bothered by anything. And I'm so grateful that my compass is always waka waka.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that's bothering you?
I think the thing that bothers me today, and a lot of days in this line of work, are all the fake TikTok, Instagram accounts of people pretending to be Chris Kael, but not being Chris Kael.
That is a weird phenomenon that I even see. I posted when Aerosmith announced their retirement. I posted a video of like, I got this killer seat from a friend of mine who works for Aerosmith, and he put me right up front. And I posted it and said, "Man, can't believe I'm not going to see this again. Steven Tyler is a legit rock star." And I saw that I had a notification that Steven Tyler had commented on it.
Ooh.
And there was a Steven Tyler account responding to people on the thread and saying, "DM me. I have something I want to talk to you about." And I was like, what? So that's obviously happening to you.
Yeah. So the thing that makes me mad about that is the lack, actually the social networks making it where you can buy blue check marks. Because now anybody can get a blue check mark.
So I literally could open up an account right now and say, "I'm Chris Kael," and then buy a blue check. Whoa, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because it's no longer a verification thing. It shows that you're a premium account member.
By the way, it just came out today that Twitter has been evaluated, that Elon has lost 80% of Twitter's value.
Really? Well, you know what? It's Elon Musk. He checked his bank account. Still don't care.
Yep.
Still don't care.
But people will talk to fake Chris. Are fake Chris Kaels hitting people up for money?
Oh, I get it all the time.
Oh, that's frustrating.
Right there. Which camera I'm looking at right there?
Yeah.
I'm talking to you people at home. I will never, ever message you asking for money unless your name is Zoltan Bathory or Ivan Moody. And then I'm definitely
man, one of my favorite musicians just hit me up. Yeah, what did he say? Oh, he needs $50.
Yep. I'm never offering any VIP packages off anything other than my website.
Ooh.
So people, yeah, that's the thing is like these people, the fans are getting hit up by these bots or whoever, these scammers, these criminals, these thieves. And they want the interaction to be real. It's not real. I'm busy. If I'm spending all the time asking you for money, I can't be doing the thing that you love in the first place, which draws you to me now. You know, I can't write songs. I can't go tour if I'm asking you for $500. Come on now.
I feel bad about this because one of the things we want to do is answer mail, but we haven't set up an account for this specific show yet.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is I went through your Twitter and I could see all your @mentions, and I actually saw this today.
Don't you dare.
Hold on. My glasses here.
You said our temperaments are different, Mr. Gas.
This is from your Twitter page. Chris Kael. Is that really you talking to me on TikTok? All right.
2-word response. No, dumbass.
By the way, I saw this crazy story on dude, this is amazing because everyone who I know who's in a band, by the way, every band I've ever known is loaded with fucking goofballs. Like some of the silliest people I've ever met in my life. I did a tour with Alice in Chains opening for them, and that band, it like 4 of the goofiest people I've ever met in my life. And this is a story I saw on Loudwire. Did you see what the bass player of Porno for Pyros has chimed in to say publicly about Perry Farrell.
Well, apparently, it don't matter what bass players say. Tour manager.
His name is Martin Lenoble. This is off of Loudwire. Bassist for Porno for Pyros has slammed his bandmate Perry Farrell in the wake of the onstage fight, which obviously, are people hitting you up for that? Like, hey man, what do you think about this?
Not so much. Not so much. More just asking me for money.
Yeah. Lenoble called out, I hope I'm pronouncing the last name correctly. Lenoble called out Farrell in a series of tweets, branding him the worst frontman I've ever worked with. He said that on Twitter, noting that he has worked with a multitude of notoriously, quote, difficult singers. The bassist goes on to explain what has made Farrell such a standout for all the wrong reasons.
Nothing like biting the hand that feeds there, Mr. Bass Player. Take it from Chris Kael.
Yeah.
I am very much malleable. I'm the glue in the middle. I go along with the flow.
I think you have to be.
You have to be. Yeah, for
dude,
real.
I used to be jealous of guys like you because you travel with so many people and it's just like, oh, that looks like so much fun.
See, now the thing with frontmen, the thing that makes them so incredible for that hour and a half on stage is also what makes them absolutely fucking unbearable the other 22 and a half hours of the day.
Yeah, dude. I mean, frontman. I mean, dude, I know people have been working for Aerosmith for years who will say that Steven gets moody. And I mean, dude, it's you know, I mean, the singers, I mean, there's all kinds of like street jokes about how many singers does it take to screw in a light bulb, you know, stuff like that. But can I read this quote from the bass player?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's give some bass players some FaceTime here.
All right. I can't do an impression of this man, but I'm going to read this. Hold on a second. I'll read it as, how about this? My impression of Martin Lenoble sounds exactly like Morgan Freeman.
Ooh.
Okay, here we go. I can say unequivocally that Perry has been the worst front man I've ever worked with. Always a kind word followed by shitty actions. The fish rots from the head down. I still don't understand how he channeled some of those great lyrics and vocals on the first two Chains Addiction records. Wow, dude. That is, people always like, all right, let's not fight publicly. And it really shits on the whole brand to do that publicly. That is nuts.
Absolutely.
To do that, man. I feel for the guy.
I saw another one somewhere where a couple of techs were talking about the happenings backstage. They were talking, giving their accounts on there. And Jane's Addiction, y'all need to get on top of your NDAs.
Wow, really? So it's like people who witnessed what was going on back, like employees, like crew guys and stuff like that?
A couple of texts from what I saw. And I was just like, oh my God, somebody get that legal team going, son.
Are there any travel tips that, like I have travel tips you can actually use? You and I travel all the time.
Yep.
And you're mostly bus, right? But
bus and occasional plane. Usually
occasional plane?
Yeah, it just depends on what the logistics are time-wise and whatnot, and whether it makes more sense to fly or to bus.
All right. I fly all the time, a few times a week.
Because you're selling out Soul Joes, of course.
And I'm selling out Soul Joes. I sold it out during the pandemic at 50% capacity.
Hey, a sellout to sell out.
So here's a travel tip you can actually use. Those luggage carts, $5, sometimes more at the airport. Go to TSA. We walk out of the airport. Don't go to baggage claim. Go right back around to the entrance of TSA. People always leave the carts there. It's free. It's easy to pick up a free cart. If you go all the way down, are you laughing at me because I'm saving $5? It's $5. Do you have any? All right. How do you save money? Is there a tip you have to save money?
Yeah. Join a band and have them pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Done.
The bass player of Green Day was with us at your... Oh, no, because it was the night before in Minneapolis, the night before you performed Metallica, we went to go see Green Day. And the bass player of Green Day told me that he used to do stand-up comedy. Oh, dude, this hurts to say this. Really? This hurts me.
I'm excited about this.
He goes, yeah, man, I used to do stand-up comedy. And I go, you did? And he goes, yeah. His name's Mike Turn, is the bass player for Green Day. And he goes, yeah. He goes, ask Jeff Ross, man. whenever I go to do comedy shows, like he'll bring me on stage, and I was like, really? And he goes, yeah, I quit comedy to form this band. And I was like, oh, you asshole. I couldn't believe that. Let me quit this thing and like, let's see if we can just put together one of the biggest bands on planet Earth.
Clearly not an American idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was saying that backstage at a stadium show that he was about to perform. Same as Chris. Dude, I realized before we get out of here that I was starting to tell you something yesterday, and you were like, I don't know this story. And one of the things when we hang out together, it's like we end up hanging out, and I tell you stuff that you're like, what? I never knew this. About Rudy Sarzo. You never knew my story about Rudy Sarzo.
No.
When I was 15 years old, Whitesnake, biggest band on the planet. They were doing a sold out arena. This is the height of like Still of the Night, Is This Love, Tawny Katane dancing.
Here I Go Again.
Here I Go Again. Yes. Huge, huge songs. And they are a massive, massive rock band.
And how old are you at this point?
I'm 15 or 16 years old.
That's rock and roll right there. Top of the world, hanging out with 15-year-olds at the mall.
Oh, dude, I got there's
dudes at the mall.
There's one part of the story that's the very beginning of the story that you're not going to like. Okay, It's going to make you cringe, and I can tell you in all sincerity, it makes me cringe looking back. But keep in mind, dude, you're not smart when you're 15. All right, will you back me up on that?
Nope. That is subjective, Craig.
I'm 15 years old.
I was in the advanced classes. I mean, I was in advanced classes in Kentucky, but I was in advanced classes.
I'm 15 years old, and Whitesnake is going to do a concert in Tucson. And a friend of mine whose sister is a housekeeping lady at a resort in Tucson says, dude, you know, my sister works at that big resort. Whitesnake's in town. They're at her hotel. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, they're already in town. They're not playing until tomorrow, but they're already in town. I go home, and this is the cringy part. I asked my mom to drop me off at that resort. I won't look at you right now, but just out of curiosity, how often do fans just find out you're in town and just walk around the hotel?
You know, we just got back from Mexico. We were down there with Metallica and Ice Nine Kills.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed that part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's, you know, outside of the States, heavy metal, I mean, we might as well have been, you know, Taylor Swift with the response of like the fans waiting at the airport. And apparently there's two hotels that most bands always stay at. So there's a group of people waiting at one, a group of people waiting at the other. And then as soon as they see an artist going into the hotel, whichever hotel that is, everybody ends up going to that. And they will stand out there morning, noon, night, all day long, just with their opportunity to get things signed, get their pictures. Well, dude, all that stuff. I love that.
Okay. I'm glad you said that. Rudy is clearly of your mindset because
bass players.
I saw Rudy and I said, hey, Rudy, my name's Craig. Can I ask you, I just started asking him questions. I've always been curious about the mechanics. I've always wanted to reverse engineer. Like, how do you do this, dude? How did somebody get a job in this industry? And it makes me cringe to say this, but I talked to him for 2 hours and I can confirm that he was okay with it.
Okay.
Because at the end of the 2 hours, he goes, hey man, I got to go. Question. Do you have a car? And I lied and I said, yeah. What do you need? I didn't have a car until I was almost 30.
Oh my.
Yeah.
You lived in New York, right?
Well, it was New York. At this point, I'm in Tucson. And then I go to Seattle to do stand-up comedy. And then I end up on the Howard Stern show in New York. So I go back to New York. But yeah, I didn't need, when I moved to LA, I'm 30 and then I needed a car there.
Okay.
But I never owned a car.
Yep.
Couldn't afford one.
Yeah.
And then
girlfriends' cars at that point.
Absolutely.
Yep. Musicians, comedians, all alike. Yep.
Rudy says, do you have a car? I lie. And I go, oh, dude, I have a car. What do you need? And he goes, the tour's about to end. My wife needs some comforters and sheets, and she wants Southwest designs. So I wanted to get some Southwest designs. And one of the other guys in my band, Adrian Vandenberg, wants to go shopping too. And I was like, yeah. What time you want me to come by? And he goes, can you come by at 1:00 tomorrow? and take me. There's a place I want to go down the road, and it wasn't too far from his resort.
Okay.
I go to school the next day. Who wants to take Whitesnake shopping? Who's got a car? Who has a car and wants to take Whitesnake shopping? My friend Brian, who is not into that music, he goes, I don't even like Whitesnake, but I'll take him shopping. And I go, really? And he goes, yeah, dude, he's into The Cure, Depeche Mode.
Mm-hmm.
He's into that music. So he's like, yeah, I don't care. I'll take Whitesnake shopping. I don't even like Whitesnake. So we go in Brian's beater and we show up at the resort. And my whole thing is like, all right, this guy wants to go to this store, but dude, let's talk him into going to the mall. Because when we go to the mall, that's where all our friends are at. And we can, and Rudy gets in the car, we're like, hey, do you want to go to the mall? And he's like, oh, no. He goes, dude, that'll be crazy. He goes, we don't want to go to a mall. He goes, we're going to the shop. And so we go to that shop and the lady doesn't have anything he's looking for. And the lady says, well, if you want variety, you should go to the mall. There's 3 major department stores. And I go, it's not too far from here, Rudy. It's 10 minutes away. All right, we can take, like, Brian, take 10 minutes, right? Yeah, all right. And we get Rudy. Adrian, by the way, backed out. And now as an adult, I know exactly what the conversation was. Like, who's driving us? Oh, this kid I met. Oh, who's this kid? Yeah, he's coming over. Like, oh, man, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, Rudy's being, like, trafficked. Like, he's not coming back. So we get out of that store. And it's like, all right, so we'll go to the mall. It's not too far, Rudy. It's not too bad. And he's like, okay, fine. We'll go to the mall. We get to the mall. And Rudy Sarzo from Whitesnake says, all right, guys, listen to me. We get out of the car and he goes, we're going to walk and we're going to walk fast. Okay. If anybody yells, we don't stop. We don't stop to listen. We just keep walking. And I was like, yes, sir, Mr. Sarzo. Yes, sir, Mr. Whitesnake. And we go walking through the mall and go to department stores. And dude, we passed stores that had like Whitesnake posters in them. Dude, all of our friends saw us. It was the coolest. And then Rudy hooks us up with tickets and backstage passes to the show. I got a picture that Matthew can show you that is of me. You know, I looked like I was in Warrant back then. And we have this amazing night. 15 years later, spit flies out of my mouth.
Did we get that on video?
Did you get that? I had spit just fly out of my mouth. I'm so excited. 15 years later, I am now on the Howard Stern show. I'm starting to do television shows, starting to do a lot of acting on all the networks. And but my main thing is the Howard Stern show. And I'm backstage at a concert in Los Angeles at the Forum. And you know, the Forum has that room called the Forum Club, which is like all the VIPs go in there, and it's just all famous people hanging out.
We played there like maybe 3 weeks ago. It's a different name. The room is now some other like corporate sponsorship, but
but it's in Inglewood right there. The Forum, the legendary Forum in LA. And this tap on the shoulder, I turn around and my jaw dropped. It's Rudy Sarzo and his wife Rebecca, and he says, Craig, sorry to bother you. My name's Rudy Sarzo. I'm a musician and I play in this band, this band, this band. This is my wife Rebecca. We are both huge fans of yours. We listen to you all the time on the Howard Stern show. And I went, Rudy, you're not going to believe this. Do you remember a 15-year-old kid in Tucson taking you shopping when you're in Whitesnake? And he goes, for comforters and sheets? I said, for comforters and sheets? And he goes, Craig, I'm so proud of you. And he gave me a hug, man.
Nice.
That makes me want to cry right now.
Rudy
dude.
is a wonderful human being.
Oh my God. Yeah. And the crazy thing is 10 years later, I'm in, he gives me his phone number, but I don't call him. Like, don't people give you their phone number and you're like, I'm not calling that dude. That dude's out of my league. Like, you know what I mean? Like
even now,
yeah. Like I don't even answer the phone. Like I'll get phone calls from blocked numbers and I'm not picking up because that's either a famous guy or someone I used to do coke with. I don't want to talk to either of them. But I remember one time being in a Long John Silver's and there was I got a call from a blocked number and I picked up and I go, hello. And I heard, hi, Craig, it's Alec Baldwin. I'm standing here with Andy Garcia. Do you mind doing your Al Pacino? And I was like,
oh my God.
Hold on. Just get some hush puppies. And I walked outside and I was like, oh, yeah. And I'm doing impressions and I'm like, oh, what's up? Hey, Andy, how you? Like, fuck that, dude. I'm not picking up the phone. So I get famous people's phone numbers. I don't call them. So I don't call Rudy. But 10 years later, I'm in this small town in Washington State. It's part of the Tri-Cities. It's 3 small towns that make up the Tri-Cities. Yeah. And there's one mall there. And I went to the Starbucks there, which is on the outside of the mall. and it's 9:00 in the morning. I just got off the air. Parking lot is empty. I walk up and there's just one dude sitting in front of the Starbucks. It's totally dead. The whole mall hasn't opened yet. And as I start to open the door, I hear Craig, and I look over and I go, Rudy? Rudy was in town in Blue Oyster Cult doing a show that night. And I was like, what the hell? And then it happens again during COVID. I'm driving cross country, and at some point I went from Tucson to drive up to Seattle, and I stopped right over the Oregon border, just past California. And it's COVID, so they're starting to do shows, but it's all social distancing. And there's an advertisement for a casino across the street, and Rudy's face is on the bill with, I think that was Blue Oyster Cult. And he's playing that night. And I was like, what the hell? Like, yeah. So I've had these random moments with him over the years. And I just had a conversation with him that I recorded. The kid who drove the car, he is a pastor now.
Really?
Yeah. So him and Rudy bonded over their faith. That was just absolutely bananas, dude. So this is what we're going to do. Once a week, we're going to hang out. We're going to shoot the shit, tell stories, find out what makes you mad, bring in our friends, your musician friends, my comedian friends, who are all killing it with massive audiences.
Absolutely.
And we're going to bring them all together here. So I'm excited about it. Having fun with you.
Between the two of us, we know a lot of people. You and I are both very, very social, very outgoing. I have my own Starbucks story. Not nearly as cool as Rudy Sarzo, but I had a girlfriend back in the day, also during COVID, I think it was. And she would always tell me, oh, you know so many people. Everywhere we go, you know somebody. I'm like, I don't know that many people. And we were vacationing near Horseshoe Bend in Arizona, doing like a motorcycle trip. And just went to this random Starbucks that was inside some like grocery store. And I walk in. As soon as I walk in, Kael. I mean, the middle of nowhere. And it was this girl, Olivia, who used to work for the band back in the day. I don't even know where she lived, but she has like one of those adventure vans, her and her husband.
No way.
And they were out traveling around and just happened to be in the same Starbucks at the same time. So yeah, we know a lot of people and come across a bunch of different people. And I'm looking forward to sharing stories about and with those people on this podcast, which is currently unnamed.
It's the two of us laughing a lot. Maybe we'll call it Waka Waka. Waka Waka with Kael and Gas.
Jim Henson might have a problem with that.
All right. Thanks for listening.
But if we get sponsored by Monster, we can afford to pay the fees.
Oh, we're definitely getting sponsors for this.
Fleshlight, call us.
As you fade to black. Fucking one take Kael. God damn it.
I think it was Rogan. I heard Rogan talking about it on his podcast. That was one of his original
was
sponsors.
Fleshlight?
Fleshlight, yeah.
Really? I remember going to my friend Yoshi was in town. Yoshi used to edit porn for a living. So he had a lot of friends in the porn industry. This is before I started living here, and I was still dating.
Is he the security guy, Yoshi?
No,
Different
but
one.
I know that Yoshi,
Okay.
who you're talking about. No,
He looks like he would edit porn.
Really?
It'd probably be in it. He's a big, strong dude.
Yeah, my buddy Yoshi, he edited porn for like almost 20 years, but he's also an amazing comedian. And he knew I was in Vegas. I was with my ex at the time, Jill. And he said, hey, if you guys want, I can get you passes to the porn convention that's happening. And I was like, and I asked Jill, and she's like, I'd like to walk around there and see what it's like. So we got our credentials, walked inside. And as soon as we walk inside, we see a booth. I just heard Jill go, oh my God. And I looked over like, what? And it was like a fleshlight thing. And there was an entire wall with samples of attachments. And the attachments were body parts of different porn stars, right? And there was one guy just going like this into the wall. And I was like, oh, wow, that guy. And people were just walking by him, and he's like, just putting his, it was.
Actually, I just came up with a travel tip, actually, speaking of Fleshlight.
All right.
So, with traveling and whatnot, you're away from family, away from loved ones quite a bit. And
where are we going with this?
I'm saying that there are plenty of tools out there that you can use with your loved one from afar via Bluetooth and whatnot. And yeah, Lovense, I think is the name of it. Lovense. Several different toys that I have utilized out on the road to maintain romantic connections with the girlfriend while out on the road.
So while you're on the road, you hit your girlfriend with a bug zapper while she's at home.
Yep. Zapping that tiny bug of hers. Yep. Yes, I do.
This was supposed to end like a few minutes ago, but
Nope.
I'm glad we got that one.
No, we're shooting for sponsors. Lovense. We don't want free stuff. We're past that, but we will get paid to talk about it.
Want to let your girlfriend know that you're still thinking about her? Give her the bug zapper.
Oh, nothing like FaceTime and I can't even think of the name of the damn toy right now.
Does she have one on you too? Give you a bug zapper that she can.
I bought like some kind of random machine, but yeah, I make a living with my hands, Craig.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Well, good for you.
Yeah, no machines. This job was not going to be automated.
Bug zapper.
Yep.
Get yours today.
You're welcome for the visual, people. Yep. You're thinking about it too now. I see it.
I really am. Feel good
about it. Yep. And another travel tip: if you're traveling in a band, make sure that your room is far away from the bass player's room when his girlfriend's in town.
Really?
Oh I make sure that nobody's on the same floor or nothing. Not only because I don't want them to hear.
But that's come from something that like something happened that made you that somebody said something.
Yes, it did actually. A former band member that we had at one point had a day off, and my girlfriend came out on the road, and I was crushing. Hadn't seen her in a while. I'm still a spright's young man with a vim and vigor, and I was very excited to see her and took full advantage of it.
How far away is he from your room?
The very next room over. And we didn't get a room list, so we had no idea who was next door. Yeah. So we're going to lobby call that day, and we get out to the elevator, and all three of us, me, my girlfriend, and the former band member, we're all at the elevator at the same time. And he sees us together and is like, "What room are you in?" And I said, 411. He goes, "Oh my God, you're my hero." Yep. So
that happened because I am getting back to my hotel. Like my hours are really weird. Like during the week, I'll get up early to do press, and which we're both going to be doing a ton of over the next couple of years to help promote this.
Absolutely.
But I will leave my room at 5:30, 6 a.m. to go out and start doing morning TV and stuff.
I need to rethink this whole podcast thing. I'm going to be waking up at 5:30. I'll play rock and roll, Craig.
And then, well, I mean, different lives. I got to do morning radio to sell my shows. So,
and morning radio needs us to sell their shows.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Thank you, morning radio.
And at night, I am coming back after my shows, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's a weird time to come in and out of a hotel, and that's you'll hear something you're like, "Oh my God, is that lady okay? She does not sound all right." Like, wow, what the hell's going on in there?
What is that guy doing to his daughter? Keeps on. I hear "daddy" over and over again. Those are not daddy noises.
Do you have any standouts of hotel experiences that stand out? That are memories of weird stuff that you go, "Oh man."
Nothing I can think of. But as you were talking about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, you and I are both sober.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you been driving around at 1:30 in the morning, looking around at all the other questionable drivers that are out there and thinking about all the time that we used to do that as well?
Oh, I'm super attentive to my rear view and my side view mirrors at night. Because like when I'm in New York, I will stay in Connecticut, which is 60 miles north of Manhattan. I'm in New York once a month doing shows. And when I'm driving back up 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting out of the city. I'm paying attention to all my surroundings.
Oh yeah.
And I see weavers behind me. I see weavers in front of me. I'm paying attention to everybody. And it's because of all those years of bad decisions. But
one of my favorite things about being sober now, I love to speed. You've driven my car, you know.
Dude, it's the weirdest thing. I'm not in any way a guy that would be described as aggro. Chris will confirm this.
Me, on the other hand.
Yeah.
Y'all judge for yourselves.
But Chris did this like really, at the time it was shocking to me. My car had some problems. It was transmission went out, so I'm getting it fixed. But I also have to get into, I had shit I had to do in California.
Right.
Chris said, you can have one of my cars. And I was like, I go, no.
I like that flex.
Yeah.
What'd I say?
You said, you can have one of my cars.
There we go.
And I said, I don't need to do that, dude. And you're like, and then at some point I was like, are you sure that's okay? Because I do need, and you go, yeah. And you give me this muscle car. I don't know anything about cars. What kind of car is it?
It is a Lexus RC 350.
All right.
Yeah. So like a two-door coupe. And it's not turbo, but man, it is fast.
It looks like it's a dude car for sure. And I get in the car and every week, I shouldn't say this, but every week I have a rental car, no insurance, because it's a gamble. Mm-hmm. It's essentially you're paying a few $100 extra with a rental car to say, no, I'm gonna damage this car. Mm-hmm. And they're saying, no, you're not. I take the bet and I don't get insurance ever. I have an insurance from the rental car companies for 20 years. I shouldn't say this, but I've never had an accident. So exactly. I've saved myself tens of thousands of dollars by not getting the insurance. But I don't think about it when I'm driving those cars. Your car, I was like, it's my friend's car. I can't do anything to this car. So I was super, super self-conscious about driving the car. But holy shit, dude, I'm driving. I got the radio on, the local rock station. AC/DC comes on, and I was like, I started to hit the gas, and I was like, oh, I became a man in that moment, dude. My balls dropped. I grew some hair. Mm-hmm. Holy shit, dude. When you got a car that actually can drive, that actually has some kick to it.
Yeah.
I felt like a man. That was incredible. Like I really did hit puberty that day. It all made sense. I was like, wow, man, I might want to fight someone. Maybe, I don't know.
And now you know where my aggro comes from.
Yeah, it's that car, man.
Yeah.
I got to put you in my Jetta. Calm you down.
No, I'm good. But no, that's one of the things that I like about the cars that I do drive is that it's, being in recovery and whatnot, we talk about the journey. Even just driving alone, like I want something that's fun to drive. So I've got the RC 350 that's fast. I got a 1950 Mercury that's just like, an attractive car that's just fun to drive. I got the Harley, which I love. So every car that I have, it's not just to get from point A to point B. I want to make sure that I'm really fully enjoying every aspect of life. And I don't spend a whole lot of money on other stuff, but I like spending money on traveling, on my cars. I like that. I still got the same house that I've been living in since long before Death Punch when I was a bartender.
I didn't know that place is the place you've been living at since you were a bartender at the Hard Rock.
Yeah, I moved into this house. From what I remember, it's a little foggy because
you were drinking back then.
Y'all know my story.
Wow,
it's a little foggy, but from what I remember, the house that I had before the one I'm in now was foreclosed upon the day that I got the gig with Five Finger Death Punch.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was during the market crash. When all the house prices were dropping. I had bought this house for like $315, I think it was back in the day.
And the one that you're at now?
No, this
one that foreclosed
before. Yeah, so I bought it at $315 with an adjustable rate mortgage, and the 5-year term had expired. And I bought it at $315. The house next to me sold for $104.
Ooh, wow.
I was like, oh. So I was trying to do the responsible thing and called up Bank of America. And they told me, I was like, hey, I've got a adjustable rate mortgage right now. I had great credit, had a job, bartending in Vegas and whatnot. And I was looking to get a 30-year fixed rate. I was like, I know I'm underwater. I know that I owe more than what it's worth right now, but I want to finance the amount that I owe for a 30-year rate mortgage. And they were like, well, you're not really experiencing any hardship right now, and you haven't missed any payments. I'm going, hold on.
Does it cross your mind to come up with some hardships?
Yeah. I asked them, I go, so what you're telling me is I have to stop making payments before you guys will change the mortgage for me? She's like, well, I can't say that, but yeah. So I ended up not paying my mortgage for like 5 months, waiting for the thing to to be able to get the assistance that everybody was getting.
Yep.
And ended up, I was trying to short sell the house, but the guy the realtor had it for like 150 and everything else was selling for 104. So I had 0 people coming to look at this house. And back then they were given, so many people were moving out of their houses and just destroying the houses, pulling out all the piping and all that stuff. So I think it was Bank of America. They offered me like a $5,000 check not to mess up the house and just to move out without destroying anything. So I got $5,000. I was able to not pay mortgage for like 5 months and then moved into the place that I was renting, which is the house that I now own.
Wow.
But the day I moved into that house, my house that I had let go was foreclosed upon the exact same day that I joined Death Punch. So talk about a change of fortune, going from dealing with all that stuff, losing a house, moving into a rental after I'd owned houses before, and then getting the gig with Death Punch.
Is it weird going back to cities that used to party in, or like there's hotels that I go to that I'm like, oh my God, I remember this hotel.
Many times I've walked in, I've done some bad shit in here.
Yeah. Dude, I've gone to hotels where I'm like, oh man, I remember having like really bad nights here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there's ghosts.
Oh yeah.
At some of these places around the country. And it'll hit me when I least suspect it sometimes. Sometimes I'll be like, I was in Dallas a few months ago for the first time. And for some reason, I haven't been in Dallas in 10 years to do shows. And I was driving towards a Starbucks. I turned around a corner and out loud, I went, oh, wow. Like this neighborhood opened up and I go, oh my, I have a memory of doing something terrible there and something terrible there. Oh, and I can't believe it. I just did that huge festival last weekend in Vegas with all those guys, Dave Attell and Tony Hinchcliffe and,
thanks Big J for the invite as well. But I had just gotten back from being out on tour and I was absolutely burnt. I would have loved to go and check out that entire festival and hopefully have gotten up and done a set or two. But man, I was completely burnt. Not to interrupt you.
By next year, this podcast will be up and running, and we're
the new Joe Rogan Experience.
We will be taping at the next festival they do. But it was basically all the comedians from the Tom Brady roast, and everyone. Not only was there a lot of partying going on there. There were booths set up. I can't remember the name of this organization, but this organization, I was like, what is that organization? And I looked and they had test strips to check your drugs for fentanyl just to make sure you're good. Nice. And I was like, whoa. Like
people are dying left and right from that. So if you're going to be doing it, do the test strips for sure.
What shocked me about it though was like, oh, people are still doing this? Like, I was like, I quit. I put it behind me. I went into recovery. I got help. Like, you guys are still, whoa. Yep. Like I hear about people losing their lives now, and I'm like, oh man, I can't believe it.
Oh yeah.
Because, there's, that first year that I got sober, 7 of my friends died. They were all comedians, 4 drug overdoses, 3 drinking and driving car accidents, and people keep losing their lives, and it's just shocking me. People still do that, and I'm just. Oh my God, am I filled with gratitude that I'm not that person anymore?
Absolutely. Speaking of comedy and gratitude, did I tell you that I featured for Ian Bagg?
No way.
In Louisville, Kentucky this past week? Yeah.
Oh, dude, Ian Bagg is the greatest crowd work guy on the planet.
My God.
I just explained that to somebody the other day. I was like, okay, this guy Ian Bagg, this is what he does. He gets on stage, he has no set.
It's crazy.
He has no material. He just starts out like, hey, what's your name? Matthew. Hey, Matthew, what do you do for a living? Oh, okay. And Matthew, where are you from? How long you been here? And what's your name? Chris, what do you do for a living? You're a rock star. Get out of here. Okay. Chris, you're a rock star? Have you met Matthew? And then he spends the next hour doing a whole set based on the people he's talking to right now.
I have seen him 12, 13, 14 times probably. Never the same set. Very rarely same jokes in there. He'll have a couple that I'm like, oh, I've heard a little bit of that before, but he switches it up. Much like Dave Attell. Dave Attell, I've seen him so many times. He'll have a premise and a punchline that crushes. And then I go see the next show, and it's the same premise, but a different punchline that crushes equally.
Dude, I think I told you this. Him and I did a weekend, 100% true. I'm in New York once a month, and I'll always end my night by watching Dave's final set, which is usually about 1:30, 1:45 in the morning. I'll go watch Dave do his final thing. And night after night, he's mixing everything around. We did a weekend in a really cool venue in Annapolis, Maryland. I've never been to Annapolis. Annapolis is a really cool, small port town.
Mm-hmm.
And
what's the name of the club? Do you know?
Ram's Head Live.
Oh, yeah. We've played there.
Ram's Head, there's two Ram's Head. There's one in downtown Baltimore, and then there's one in Annapolis.
Baltimore is the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one in Baltimore is bigger.
Yeah.
Much bigger.
Which is why we played there.
Yeah.
God damn it. Got him. Kobe.
Sold Joel's. Sold out. Social distance. Sold out.
Yeah.
But David Tell, first show, he goes, all right, let's talk about anal beads. And he sees somebody in the front row and he goes, oh, you don't know what anal beads are? I'll tell you what they're not. They're not a good gift for the office for the holidays. Huge laugh. The next night, I'm watching his set and he goes, all right, let's talk about anal beads. And he looks at somebody in the front row and he goes, oh, you don't know what anal beads are? Let me see if I can explain this to you. Anal beads are like finding out there's no Santa 8 times in a row. And I went, God damn. Then the next night, I had a friend come to the show and Dave goes, all right, let's talk about anal beads. And I go, ooh, this is a good joke. This is a good joke. He doesn't do any of it. He goes, what are you supposed to say when you take out the anal beads?
Mm-hmm.
Are you supposed to say something? I came up with something. Maybe you can use this. This is what I say when I pull the anal beads out. I'll say, and your winning Powerball numbers are 12, 7, blood. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the fuck? Every night it was a different, dude, there are some comedians that you watch that are like, God, that guy is good. But every comedian on the planet has David Tell stories where you're like, holy shit. He's never happy with his material. Gets annoyed when people laugh too much. He gave me shit for laughing the other night and went, oh God, pick a laugh, Craig. And I went, well, oh, I'm just, like, and the whole audience is like out in front. He's laughing. He's like heckling me on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that guy is a genius, dude.
Speaking of anal beads, available at loveints.com. Yes, I own those too.
The bug zapper.
I'm a freak. So yeah.
Now at Walgreens. And it's just your girlfriend it's just your girl. The video is now at Walgreens with your girlfriend going.
Speaking of which, as a musician, I always hear songs in everything that I do, just going through the day and associating songs with experiences. And anytime I've used anal beads, it's always do 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 do. But one time we used a butt plug rather than anal beads, and the song that time was da 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 da. Fuck! Yep, that's supposed to be a training tool, not after you're good at it. And what is going on with the design of butt plugs? That the part that goes in you, or your girlfriend, not me, not yet anyway. Loveints.com. But the part that goes inside of you is, let's say that big. The plug that keeps it from going inside is about this big.
Yeah.
Like, how does,
Chris, can I just, I look in the camera to give a shout out to one of our sponsors? Burger King. Have it your way. Uncomfortably. Burger King. Back to the butt plug story.
Love it.
I'm loving it.
I'm loving it. Her, not so much.
We were supposed to end 30 minutes ago.
But I see we've paid until 5 o'clock and this is 4:56. So we have 4 minutes of Patreon content.
All right. So what do you got for the 4 minutes?
The 4 minutes.
We're going to go see Iron Maiden this weekend. We're both going to see each other Iron Maiden.
Yep. Get to go see the Interrupters opening up for Sum 41, which I'm pretty excited
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Who's opening for Maiden?
Does it matter?
Yeah, good point.
It's much like us opening up for Metallica. Who cares?
There's also Sammy Hagar's doing his, he's calling it his birthday bash. I think he usually does a birthday bash in Cabo, but for some reason he's doing a couple of nights of shows, Friday and Saturday, where he's doing the birthday bash. Dude, Sammy Hagar still kills it as I swallow my words, but that was like a stuttering John.
Speaking of swallowing.
Sammy Hagar.
Speaking of swallowing, loveints.com.
Sammy Hagar is going to do 2 nights at, I think at the Palms.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that guy, I mean, dude, 70. He's up there in his 70s.
Him and Bill Clinton the same age, from what I remember.
Is that right?
I'm pretty sure I've seen memes of them together, and like one's doing politics, one's doing rock and roll, same age, and just the difference in
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's like a human thing that you hear in him sometimes. You'll hear a crack and you'll be like, oh man.
Mhm.
But you sit there and go, but God, he's hanging in there for most of it.
Absolutely.
Whereas I saw the weirdest fucking thing that, I mean, our grandparents' generation. So you're familiar with it because it's been out there in the ether. I don't know shit about Frankie Valli, but I've been looking at these videos of him. Have you seen these videos of him?
No.
Frankie Valli, there's a controversy that people are saying that it's elder abuse because he barely looks like he's there at these shows. And what's crazy about it is it's already obvious. He's not anywhere near trying to sing. It's these legendary vocals of like Grease is the Word, you know, that unbelievable pitch that he would hit.
Oh, yeah.
And he's barely standing there and barely lip syncing. And that's the show. And he's surrounded by guys easily half his age. And I mean, that's got to be weird to be almost 100 years old. He's 90. And to be like, hey, remember 40 years ago when you were 50? Like that's such a crazy thing to think of.
Oh, yeah.
Look up Frankie Valli elder abuse, and you'll see some several stories linked to these performances.
Oddly enough, that's my number one porn search.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be showing that video, though.
Brought to you by
loveents.com. Get yours now.
But dude, this is crazy to see.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, here we go.
I want to thank Josh Wolf for coming in and spending all this money on his podcast with his son Jake, and really making this is a nice place. I'm not
dude. It's podcaster studio, and Matthew's running a tight ship here. I love it.
Out after a series of viral videos prompting fans to be concerned about his health and well-being.
He's 90. Is that the bass player for Jane's Addiction back there?
Yeah.
This is one of several videos captured at Valli's recent performances. Fans commenting on those videos were concerned about him appearing to miss lyrics and choreography, saying that he looked exhausted. But Valli issued a statement to People magazine saying in part, quote, "Nobody has ever made me do anything I did not want to do.
Exactly.
I am blessed to be 90 years old and still be doing what I love to do. And as long as I'm able and audiences want to come see me, I'm going to be out there performing as always."
How great would it be if you had a bug zapper on him and right now watching him in the middle of the show, you give him a little pss, and then like he just hits that note. Ah! Like he
Hold
just
on. Let me pull it up on my app. See if he's logged in.
Oh
But yeah, it's one of those things too. Like Slayer has just gotten back out and is doing shows again. And they got so much flack for, they said they were retiring. What are you going to do after you were in Slayer that's going to be anything even close to getting up there? I completely support that. By all means, Gary, Tom, Carrie, whoever's playing drums, I think it's Paul Bostaph right now, keep doing it. And I like that the Lord actually looked down on Louder Than Life this past weekend. Saw that Slayer was supposed to be doing a show there.
And rained the show out.
Rained it out.
In blood.
The Lord told Carrie King, Carrie, you're going to honor your word, son.
It's funny that it makes sense to say, hey, if we get these offers every couple of years to get back together for a few shows, we're going to do it. Dude, cash that check.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's really crazy.
Do we have time for me to tell my story that I was getting ready to start about Ian Bagg, actually?
Yes. Oh my God, dude, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm just a bass player. Yep. I'm going to be getting on Blabbermouth here shortly, talking shit about the worst comedian I've ever met in my life.
Hate
and
tweets.
Give a top 5 reasons why Craig Gass sucks.
I'm going to open up my Twitter and be like, 35 notifications.
On the next show, I'm like, hey, Craig, I was checking out your Twitter page and I found some comments.
It'll just be one tweet from you and 35 people going, yeah, fuck him.
But I was supposed to see Slayer this past week at Louder Than Life in Louisville. And of course, it got rained out. Crazy rain from the hurricane Helene that was moving through. Mm-hmm. And I went to dinner with my girlfriend. And after the meal, I was in the restroom. And, you're on your phone, picked up my phone, and I had a text from Ian Bagg. It said, "Are you in Louisville?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I looked, because I always look on like bands in town or Polestar to see who's in town. But for some reason, I had Slayer on the mind. It didn't look at anybody else. Ian was actually performing in Louisville at the Louisville Comedy Club.
Yeah, that club's been around for. It used to be called something else.
Okay.
And yeah, that club's been around forever.
But yeah, I was, I looked on there. I was like, "Oh my God, you're like 3 blocks away from."
No way.
Yeah. So,
I love it when that happens.
I was immediately thinking, "Oh, I hope she didn't order dessert. I'm going to go to the show. We go out. She had ordered dessert, Derby pie. You got to have it when you're in Kentucky. It's incredible. And we finished
Especially
dessert.
when you got the bug zapper inside you.
Exactly. Yep.
It's not coming out.
She got to burn all those extra calories. Yep.
At Walgreens.
Do. And yeah, so Ian asked me, he's like, "Hey, you want to come to the show and do a set?" I'm like, "Man, I haven't done it the entire time that I've been on tour. I think I did one show over in Spain while we were over there. And I had some ideas and whatnot. And I was like, I don't know, man." And Melissa, my girlfriend, was like, "Just get in there and get on stage." So from being on the shitter and getting the text to being on stage, opening up for Ian Bagg, maybe 20 minutes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, that's tight for me.
Yeah, the show was that shit. But yeah, I got over there and went in, and because of the cancellation of Louder Than Life, there was a big rock and roll crowd that was in there.
They're all looking for something to do.
Exactly.
Oh, that's amazing. They all go, "What the fuck?"
When they announced my name, so her and I walked in the back.
That is so cool.
It was so much fun. Much like when I did Punchline and Backlines with you.
Yeah.
A very forgiving, very favorable audience.
Yep.
With it being, they're there for the rock guy. But they,
so cool.
We sneak in, we're sitting in the back, and they're announcing me. As I'm walking up, they're like, "How many of you all? We're going to Louder Than Life today." "Well, that got canceled, but we got somebody here for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Kael." The guy in the corner, I hear him go, "No fucking way." And then I have to walk right past him to get to the stage. He goes, "Holy shit, it's him. It's him." I was like, "Oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good." So my opening line is always, yes, I'm Chris Kael from Five Finger Death Punch. And people, I go, "Oh, I love that, because that means this set's going to go good with this amount of people in here with questionable tastes."
Yep.
So yeah, I got to get up there and do, I think I did about 7 minutes with them. Started off strong, had some ideas that I wanted to do. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. So thank you, Ian Bagg, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Craig Gass, for giving me my very first opportunity at doing stand-up. This has been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to hopefully taking this podcast out on some comedy tours eventually.
It's crazy because every week there's some crazy shit that happens on the road. And that's one of the things I'm most looking forward to, is checking in every week to say what happened to you, what happened to me, all the ups and downs of crazy shit that happens, the people that we run into when we're on the road. Because I book all my shows around concerts and sporting events. So I'm always going to cities with the intention of doing something crazy in town, then do my shows, which is a big reason why I'm not famous, is because my priority has been having fun. But we're going to come back every week and check in with each other to talk about things that have been happening in our lives. So,
but now, Craig Gass, you're on this podcast with me, so I got you, buddy. I got you. I'm going to bring you on into the fold. We're going to be.
I'm going to get a fan with a bug zapper in them.
That's right. Lovents.com. Coming to an asshole near you.
Burger King, have it your way. And McDonald's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
My butt hurts.
Trust me, she's loving it. I got the video to prove it. Let's go.
All right.
Available now on Patreon.
I think we finally got it.
I think we did.
We said goodbye 6 times already.
So anyway, there's one more thing. I kid.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you. Is Matthew on camera over here?
No, but you know what? It's a huge validation for me when out of the corner of my eye I see it jiggle. It gives me a little.
Very nice. And for anybody watching at home, him and I pretty much have the same look. Bald, attractive dudes with beards. Oh, look at that. See?
But you know what?
Same.
I'm just realizing, you know what Matthew is? Matthew is Kerry King. Like, he's very stoic.
Oh, yeah.
But like a little jiggle, like we'll get like, and I to me, I've had dinner with Carrie King, and I feel like the peak of comedy when you're making jokes at dinner is when he does exactly what Matthew does. He just does this. He goes, and I've gotten a few of those from Matthew.
Very nice. There we go.
So when I see that, I'm like, all right, cool.
Hear that, Love Ints? We're getting laughs. Sponsor us.
By the way, Jiggle was not insulting. Can I just say that for the record? Jiggle was not insulting.
Well, he didn't think it was until fucking now.
Burger King, have it your way.
Speaking of jiggles, get in there and get you a combo meal from Burger King. You too can chuckle.
Zap.
God, I miss Greg.